ballast did. Can you manage all right with that?
Oh, yes, Miss Bolette. It's quite a simple matter, really. If I may be so bold as to ask, are you expecting visitors today?
Yes, we're expecting Dr. Arnholm this morning. You know, the schoolmaster.
Arnholm? Oh, wait a moment. Wasn't there a gentleman called Arnholm who used to be tutor here a few years ago?
That's right, yes, my old tutor. He arrived in town last night. Yes, that's why we want the flag up.
Very proper.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning. There now. Up she goes. Good morning, sir. I don't think I've had the pleasure.
You're a painter, are you?
Conceivably. Why not a painter inter alia?
Why not indeed? Can I come in for a moment?
Oh, there's nothing much to see yet, but if you'd really like to, pray, step in.
Thank you.
Just now, I'm working on the stretch of the fjord. There, you see, between the islands.
Are you going to have a figure in it as well?
Yes. On this rock, here in the foreground, I'm going to have a mermaid, half dead.
Why half dead?
She's wandered in from the sea, can't find her way back. So here she lies, dying in the brackish waters of the fjord.
Yes, I see.
It was the lady of the house here who put the idea into my head.
What are you going to call this picture when you finished it?
I'm thinking of calling it The Death of the Mermaid.
Very appropriate. But you should be able to make something really good out of this.
Ah, a fellow forager, perhaps?
A painter, you mean?
Yes.
No, I'm not a painter. I'm going to be a sculptor, actually. My name is Lyngstrand. Hans Lyngstrand.
Yes, yes. Sculpture's fine art, too. I think I've seen you in the town once or twice. Have you been around here long?
No, only about a fortnight, but I'm going to try and stay the whole summer if I can manage to.
Enjoy the bathing amenities, no doubt.
Yes, that's why I came, to regain my strength. I am a little infirm, as they say. Nothing dangerous. My chest, just a shortness of the breath now and then.
That's nothing. Perhaps you should consult a doctor, all the same. A good doctor.
Yes, I was thinking Dr. Wangel, if I could get the opportunity.
Yes, I should. There's another steamer coming in, bursting with passengers. I often fear our little town will lose its character with all these strangers coming here.
Were you born here?
No, but I've acclimatized myself. I've been here so long and got so much into the ways of the place that I feel like one of the natives.
You've been here a long time, then?
17 years. No, 18. I came with a theatrical company, but we got into financial difficulties. So the company broke up, scattered to the four winds.
But you stayed?
Yes, I stayed. Did quite well, really. My forte in those days used to be decoration and design.
See if you can find that embroidered footstool for Father, will you?
Good morning, Miss Wangel.
Oh, hello, Mr. Lyngstrand. Forgive me a moment, I must just...
You know the family, then?
Not really, no. I met the young ladies in the town once or twice, here and there, and exchanged a few words with Mrs. Wangel last time they had a concert up on the hill. She suggested I should come and call on them sometime.
Oh, confound it. The steamer's almost alongside now. I must get along to the hotel. The new arrivals may need my services. Thank you. I run a little line as hair cutter and friseur, you see.
You're very versatile.
Well, one's got to acclimatize oneself. One's got to learn to do a bit of everything in a little town like this. Thank you. If you should ever need anything in that line, pomade or such like, just ask for Monsieur Ballasted, the dancing master.
The dancing master?
Chairman of the Horn Society, if you like. We're giving a concert up on the Prospect this evening. Goodbye.
Well, it tells me you've actually ventured into the garden today.
Have you been walking all morning?
No, actually, I've just...
Oh, you've been swimming, I suppose.
Yes, I had a little dip. I saw your mother down there. She was just going into her bathing hut.
Who do you say?
Your mother.
Yes, I see what you mean.
Did
I
you
don't
see
really...
anything of Father's boat out in the fjord?
Yes, I thought I saw a boat sailing this way.
Ah, that would be Father. He's been visiting some patients on the islands.
How splendid you're making it look with all these flowers.
Yes, it looks rather pretty. Don't you think?
Wonderful. Almost as if you were celebrating some sort of red letter day.
We are.
I guessed as much. Your father's birthday, I presume.
No, Mother's.
Oh, really? Your mother's?
Leave me alone. Well, I suppose you'd be wanting to go back to your hotel for lunch now.
Oh, yeah, yes, I suppose I ought to get a bite of something.
I suppose the food up there seems wonderful to you.
I'm not up at the hotel any longer. I found it too expensive for me.
Where are you staying now, then?
Mrs. Jensen's. Well, I better say au revoir to you and to Miss Bolette.
Goodbye, Mr. Lingstone. Goodbye. Oh, do please excuse us today, but some other time when you've got nothing to do, you must come and see round the house and see Father and the rest of us.
Yes, thank you very much. I'd love to.
Au revoir, monsieur. Give my love to Mother Jensen.
Shh, Hilda. He could easily have heard you.
Well, young ladies, here I am again.
Oh, Father, it's good to have you back.
Are you free for the day now, Father?
No, I shall have to go down to the surgery for an hour or two. Oh, tell me, has Denholm arrived yet?
Oh, yes, he arrived in town last night. We heard from the hotel.
But you haven't seen him?
No, but I expect he'll come here this morning.
Father, look.
Yes, child, I see. How very gay.
Don't you think we've made it look pretty?
I should say you have. Tell me, is your, are there just the three of us
Oh,
at
yes,
home?
she's gone
Mother
down to...
has gone down to bathe.
Yeah, I see. But tell me, young ladies, are we going to leave the house looking like this for the rest of the day, with the flag flying and everything?
Of course, Father.
I see, but...
Of course, you know we've really done all this for Dr. Arnholm. When such an old friend pays his first respects...
He used to be Bolette's tutor, Father.
What a couple of rogues you are. Well, I suppose it's inevitable that we should pay our respects now and again to her who is no longer with us. All the same. Oh, Hilda, be a dear and take my bag down to the surgery, will you?
Oh, look. Isn't that Dr. Arnholm?
That? He's much too old for Arnholm.
On my soul, I think it is he. Yes, it is. Yes.
Good heavens, I think you're right.
Welcome, my dear fellow. Welcome home.
Thank you, Dr. Wangel, thank you. You are too kind. And here are the children. I should hardly have recognized them.
I don't suppose you would.
Except Bolette, perhaps. Yes, I think I should have known Bolette.
Really? It must be 8 or 9 years since you saw her last. Yes, a lot of things have changed here in that time.
I was just thinking the opposite. Except that the trees are a little taller, and that arbor.
Oh, well, yes, externally.
And now you have 2 eligible grown-up daughters.
Well, 1.
Oh, Father.
Come, let's go and sit on the veranda. It's cooler there.
Thank you, my dear doctor, thank you.
Now, have a sit down and take things easy. Oh, children, would you bring some seltzer and some lemonade, please, and some brandy, too, perhaps?
You want some brandy, too?
Well, just a drop in case anyone...
Yes, of course. Hilda, would you take Father's bag to the surgery, please?
Thank you.
What a lovely girl your daughters have grown into.
Oh, yes, they have, haven't they?
Yes, I'm amazed at Bolette. And Hilda, too. But
please.
now, tell me about yourself, my dear doctor. Have you decided to settle here for good?
Oh, yes, I think so. I was born and bred here, as they say. It was here that I spent those unbelievably happy years with her. A few years that we were allowed. I think you met her when you were here before, Denholm.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Now, of course, I've found great happiness with my new wife. So I think I can say, all in all, that fate has been very good to me.
You've had no children by your second marriage?
But we had a little boy, 2.5 years ago now, but we didn't keep him long. He died when he was 4 or 5 months old.
Is your wife not at home today?
Yes, she'll be here in a minute. She's down at the fjord bathing. She goes there every day now, whatever the weather.
You speak as if there was something the matter with her.
Well, there's nothing exactly the matter with her. She's been very nervous these past years, you know, off and on. I've tried to make up my mind what's behind it. Bathing in the sea has become a kind of passion with her.
Yes, I remember she used to be like that.
Of course, you knew Ellida, didn't you, when you taught out at Frederick?
Yes, I met her quite often when I went out to the lighthouse to see her father.
Well, the life out there has never loosed its hold on her. People out here can't fathom her. They call her the lady from the sea.
Do they, really?
Yes, that's why, Denholm, talk to her about the old days. It'll do her so much good.
Is that you, Wangel?
Yes, my dear. Here she is, our lady from the sea.
Oh, thank heavens. You're back. When did you arrive?
Just now, a few minutes ago. Well, aren't you going to greet an old friend?
Oh, you've come then. Welcome. Forgive me for not being here.
Oh, please,
when
you mustn't put yourself to any trouble.
How was the water today? Fresh and clean?
Fresh? Dear God, the water here is never fresh. Ooh, the water's sick here in the fjord.
Sick?
Yes, sick. And poisonous, too, I sometimes think.
You're certainly doing your best to recommend the amenities of the place.
No, I rather think that Mrs. Wangel has a special affinity with the sea and everything connected with it.
But have you noticed how beautifully the girls have arranged everything in your honor?
Is this really in my honor?
Why, certainly. You don't think we do this kind of thing every day, do you?
Well, I think I expect...
Oh, it's stiflingly hot here under this roof. Come down here. There's at least some air down here.
I think the air's quite fresh up here.
Oh, you're used to that dreadful city air. It's quite suffocating in summer, I'm told.
Well, I must be off.
Have you work to do?
Yes, I have to go to the surgery for a while. I shan't be long, though.
Please don't hurry yourself, my dear doctor. Your wife and I will manage to pass the time.
I'll see you later, then.
Oh, it's pleasant out here, don't you think?
Very pleasant, I think. Now?
We call this my arbor because I made it. Or rather, Wangel made it for me.
And that's where you like to sit?
Yes, I sit there most of the day.
With the girls, I suppose?
No, the girls stay on the veranda.
Oh, and Wangel himself?
Oh, Wangel comes and goes. Half an hour with me and half an hour with the children.
When I last saw you, out at Shirlbeacon, I mean, yes, that's a long time now.
At least 10 years.
Yes. The last thing on earth I could have imagined would have been that I should ever see you here as Mrs. Wangel.
No, then Wangel was still... Oh, the girl's mother was still alive.
Yes, of course. But even if he hadn't been, even if he'd been a bachelor, I could never have guessed that this would happen.
Neither could I.
He must be so very different from you, I should have thought.
Yes, he is.
How did it happen, then? How did it happen?
Oh, my dear Arnold, I couldn't begin to explain that to you.
Have you ever told your husband anything about me? I mean, of course, that foolish proposal I once made to you.
No, of course not. I've never breathed a word to him about that. I simply told him the truth, which is that I was very fond of you, and that you were the best and truest friend I had out there. Have you ever thought of marrying anyone else?
Never. I've remained faithful to my memories.
Oh, Arnold. Let those sad old memories rest. You ought to look round for a wife who could make you happy.
I shall have to begin soon then, Mrs. Wangel. I'm already 37, you know.
All the more reason to waste no time, then. Arnold, my dear, I want to tell you something that I could never have told you at the time, even if my life had depended on it.
What?
When you made that, when you asked what we spoke of just now, I couldn't have replied in any other way than I did.
I know. You had nothing to offer me except friendship. I know that.
But what you didn't know was that all my thoughts and feelings were already directed elsewhere.
But that's impossible. Why, you didn't even know Wangel then?
I'm not speaking of Wangel.
Not Wangel? But I can't think of anyone else.
No, I suppose not. The whole thing was so insane.
Tell me more.
All that matters is that I was already in love with someone else.
But if you hadn't been in love with someone else, would you have replied differently to my letter?
Who can tell? When Wangel came, I replied differently to him.
Then why'd you bother to tell me this?
Because I must have someone to confide in. No, please.
Then your husband knows nothing about this?
Oh, I told him from the first, of course, that I'd once been in love with someone else. He never demanded to know more. We never discussed it, and it soon passed over in a way.
In a way? Not completely?
Oh, yes, completely. Oh, Denholm, it's not what you think. It's all so inexplicable. I don't know how to begin to explain it to you. You'd only think I was ill or mad.
My dear Mrs. Wangel, you must and shall tell me the whole truth.
Very well, I'll try. Oh, there's someone coming. Are you looking for the girls, Mr. Lindström?
Oh, no, Mrs. Wangel, it was you I wanted to see. You were so kind as to suggest I might pay a visit sometime.
Oh, you're always welcome here.
Thank you so much. Well, seeing as it happened to be rather a special occasion here today, I thought I'd be so bold as to ask you to accept this.
My dear Mr. Lindström, don't you think you ought to give your beautiful flowers to Dr. Denholm yourself? It's he who...
Forgive me, I don't know this gentleman. I only came because of the birthday.
Birthday? I think you must have made some mistake, Mr. Lindström.
Oh, I know all about it. I didn't realise it was meant to be a secret there.
What do you know about it?
That it's your birthday today.
Mine?
Today? Surely not.
What makes you think it is?
Miss Hilda let it out earlier. I asked the young ladies why they'd got everything to look so smart with the flowers and flag.
I see.
And Miss Hilda said, because today is Mother's birthday.
Ah. Well, since this young gentleman knows Mrs. Wangel...
Yes. Since you know.
May I then have the honour to offer you my congratulations?
It's very kind of you. Oh, won't you come in and sit down a moment, Mr. Lindström? This business about my birthday was meant to be a secret, Dr. Denholm.
I know. It wasn't meant to be revealed to us outsiders.
I promise I shan't breathe a word to a living soul.
Oh, it's not the least importance. Tell me, how are you? You're looking better than when I last saw you.
I think I'm making good progress. And next year, when I go south, to the Mediterranean, that is, if I manage to...
Well, that's all arranged, the girls tell me.
Yes, I hope so. I've got a benefactor in Bergen who's very good to me.
How did you come to meet him?
A most extraordinary piece of luck. I happened to go to sea once in one of his ships.
Really? So you love the sea?
Oh, no, not in the least. But when my mother died, my father made me go to sea. Well, it was on the way home that we were shipwrecked in the English Channel, luckily for me.
Why do you say luckily?
Well, it was as a result of the wreck that I got this chest trouble. Yes, it was a great stroke of luck for me.
Oh, do you really think so?
Why, yes. This chest of mine isn't at all dangerous. And now I can become a sculptor, which is what I really want.
And what are you going to do? Mermaids or Vikings?
Oh, nothing like that. As soon as I can, I want to try my hand at something really big. A group, a composition.
Really? What's this composition going to represent?
Well, it's got to be something I've experienced myself.
Oh, quite right. Always stick to your own experiences.
Come on, tell us about it.
Well, what I have in mind is a young girl, a sailor's wife. She's lying asleep, but restlessly, strangely restlessly. She's dreaming.
But you said a composition.
Yes, I'm going to have another figure. Symbolic, don't you know? Her husband, whom she's been unfaithful to while he's been away, has been drowned in the sea.
Drowned?
Yes, drowned on a sea voyage. But he came back to her all the same. One night. And there he stands, by her bed, staring down at her, wet and sodden as only a drowned man can be.
That's strange. That's wonderfully strange.
But for heaven's sake, Mr. I thought you said this composition was to represent something that had once happened.
Yes, it did happen to me, in a manner of speaking.
What exactly did happen, Mr. Lindström?
We were about to sail for home from a town called Halifax, when the boatswain fell ill, so we had to leave him behind in hospital. We signed on another fellow instead, an American. Well, this new boatswain...
The American?
Yes. One day he borrowed a bundle of old newspapers from the captain and spent every minute he could reading them. He said he wanted to learn Norwegian.
Yes.
Well, one evening, a terrible storm blew up. All the men were on deck except the boatswain and me. He'd sprained a foot, so he couldn't walk. I was lying in my bunk. Well, there he was, sitting in the cabin, rereading one of these old newspapers.
Yes.
Well, as he's sitting there, all of a sudden I hear him give a kind of a howl. Then he crumples the paper together and he pulls it into 1,000 pieces. But he did it all so quietly.
Didn't he say anything? Not a word?
Not at first. But after a bit, he said, "Married to another man while I was away."
He said that?
Yes, and you know, he said it in really good Norwegian. He must have had a wonderful ear for languages, that man.
What then? What else happened?
Well, then this extraordinary thing happened, which I shall never forget. He said, still in the same calm voice, "But mine she is, and mine she will always be, and she will come to join me even though I go as a drowned man to claim her."
Close it is in here.
And the way he said it made me think he would do it too.
Do you know what became of this man?
Oh, Mrs. Wangel, he's dead, I'm sure.
What makes you think that?
Well, it was just after that we were wrecked in the channel.
And nothing's been heard of him since?
No, nothing. I heard all this in a letter I received from my benefactor recently. That's just why I so want to commemorate it. The faithless girl, the drowned man coming home from the sea to revenge himself on her. I can see them both so clearly.
So can I. Well, let's go inside. Or down to Wangel. It's so suffocatingly close in here.
Yes, well, I must say thank you and be off. I just wanted to pay a courtesy call, seeing it was your birthday.
Oh, goodbye, Mr. Lyngstrand, and thank you for the flowers.
I can see this has touched you deeply, Mrs. Wangel.
You could put it like that.
Still, it was something you had to be prepared for.
Prepared for?
Yes, surely.
Prepared for someone to come back? And to come back like that?
What on earth? Is it this business about the dead man which has so disturbed you? And I thought...
Oh, what did you think?
Well, naturally, I thought you were upset because you'd found out about this secret family celebration. Your husband and his children living a life of memories from which you are excluded.
No, oh no. I've no right to demand that my husband should be wholly and entirely mine.
I think you have. You must have.
Yes? No. No, that's just the point. It's I who am leading a life from which they are excluded.
You? Do you mean to say you aren't really fond of your husband?
Oh, yes, yes, I am. That's what makes it all so dreadful.
Now, you must tell me what makes you so unhappy. The whole story.
I can't, not now.
Father's finished in the surgery. Shall we all go in the garden room?
Yes, let's.
Well, here I am, finished for the day. How about a nice glass of something cool, eh?
Look, what lovely flowers. Where did you get them?
I got them from young Mr. Lyngstrand, the sculptor.
Has he been here again?
Yes, he came by just now with these. For the birthday, you know.
Cat.
Ellida, my dear.
Come, children. Let's put my flowers in water with the others, shall we?
She's awfully nice, really.
She's only doing it to please Father.
Thank you, Ellida. Thank you so much, my dear.
You wouldn't want me to be the only one not celebrating Mother's birthday, would you?
Oh, look at the way Lyngstrand crawls along.
Oh, you know how ill he is.
Do you think it's serious?
Yes, I do.
He came to consult Father today. I'd like to know what he thinks about it.
Father told me that he's got congestion of the lungs or something of the kind. He won't live to be old, Father said.
Did he say that? Oh, just as as I thought.
For heaven's sake, don't let him suspect that you know anything.
Please forgive me, young ladies, for lagging so far behind you.
Are they still down there, Father and the rest?
Yes, your father went into the refreshment hut, and the others are all sitting outside listening to the music. But they're coming up here very soon, your mother said.
You must be very tired.
Yes, perhaps I am a little tired. I think I'll sit down for a bit.
Did you know there was going to be dancing down there by the bandstand later?
Yes, so I heard.
Well, do you think it's fun, dancing?
Hilda, give Mr. Lindström a chance to get his breath back.
Oh, yes, Miss Hilda, I should so love to dance. If only I could.
You mean you never learned?
No, I have never learned, but that's not what I meant. I meant I mustn't, because of my chest.
Does that make you very unhappy, having this chest trouble?
Oh, no, I can't say that. I think it's because of that everybody's so good and kind and helpful to me.
Yes. And it's not really serious, is it?
Serious? Good heavens, no, not in the least. Your father made that quite clear to me.
Oh, they're coming now.
I hope they know where to turn off. They've gone wrong.
I'll run down and shout to them.
Well, you'll have to shout very loud.
Oh, no, don't. It'll make you tired again.
Nonsense, it's all downhill.
Downhill, yes. Now he's jumping. It doesn't occur to me he's got to climb uphill all the way back.
Poor boy.
If Lindström asked you to marry him, would you accept him?
Have you gone mad?
Well, if he didn't have this chest trouble, if he wasn't going to die so soon, would you have him then?
I think he'd suit you better than me.
Me? Oh, he hasn't got a bean. Not even enough to keep himself alive.
Well, why do you always make so much fuss of him, then?
Oh, well, only because of that chest of his.
I haven't noticed that you feel sorry for him.
No, I don't really. I think it's fascinating. What? Well, to hear him saying it's not serious and he's going south to become an artist. He believes every word he says. It makes him so happy. He'll never come to anything because he won't live long enough. I think that's so exciting.
Hilda, you're a cruel little beast.
I say, Arnold's not enjoying all this climbing. Do you know what I noticed at dinner?
No? What?
His hair's beginning to fall out just in the middle.
That's nonsense. It isn't true.
Yes, it is. And he's beginning to get wrinkles round both his eyes. Oh, Bolette, how on earth could you have fallen in love with him when he was tutoring you?
Yes, it's strange, isn't it? I remember once bursting into tears because he said he thought Bolette was an ugly name.
Not really. Come and look. The lady from the sea is walking with him. Oh, Father's on his own. I wonder if those two are stuck on each other.
Oh, you really ought to be ashamed of yourself. How can you stand there talking like that about her, just when we're getting on so well together?
Oh, yes? Oh, she'll never get on with us. She's not our sort. We're not hers. God knows why Father ever dragged her into this house. She'll be surprised she won't have her head one of these
Oh,
fine
how
days.
can you say such things?
Her mother went mad. She died in an asylum. I know.
Well, don't go round talking about it. Be nice to her, for Father's sake.
There's the sea.
Yes, that's right. It must be in that direction.
Yes. There it is. Out there.
Don't you think it's lovely up here?
Magnificent. In my time, I don't think you could get up here. There wasn't even a footpath.
There's an even better view from Lutskolan, just over there.
Shall we go there, Ellida?
No, I won't, thanks. You go. I'll stay here till you come back.
I think I'll do the same. The girls can show Dr. Denholm the way.
Would you like to come with us, Dr. Arnold?
Oh, thank you. I'd love to. Is there a path up there, too?
Oh, yes, a good broad one.
Broad enough for two people to walk arm in arm.
Shall we two see if she's speaking the truth?
Yes, let's.
Shall we go too?
Arm in arm.
Why not? I've no objection.
It's rather a laugh, isn't it?
What?
It just looks as though we two were engaged.
How calm and peaceful it is up here. Now we can talk a little.
What about?
How about you, Ellida? You and me. We can't go on like this.
Well, what do you want instead?
That we should trust each other a little, live together as man and wife, the way we used to before.
Oh, if only we could. But it's impossible.
I think I understand how you feel.
No, you don't. Don't say you understand me.
No, but I do. I mean, you're so honest and loyal, Ellida.
Loyal, yes.
you couldn't find peace or happiness in any compromised relationship.
Go on.
Well, you just weren't made to be a man's second wife. I've often felt it. I mean, to you, it's almost as if the girl's mother was still alive, as though she were invisibly living among us. You think that my love is divided between you and her. You feel as if there's something indecent in our relationship. That's why you can't... why you don't want to live with me as my wife any longer.
But you haven't realized it at all.
Well, I realize, of course, Ellida, there is something else, too.
Something else?
Well, you can't stand this place. The mountains oppress you, they weigh you down. I mean, there's not enough light for you here, not enough sky around you, not enough strong, clean air.
Yes. Yes, you're right. Night and day, winter and summer, it fills me, this homesickness for the sea.
I know. And now my poor sick child shall go home again.
What do you mean?
What I say. I'm going away somewhere by the open sea. Somewhere where you can find a real home, the sort of home you long for.
Oh, my dear, you mustn't think of it. You couldn't live anywhere in the world but here.
Well, that's as it may be, but do you think I could be happy here without you?
But I am here. And I shall stay here. I'm yours. Oh, don't let's talk about leaving. Your whole life's work lies here.
We are leaving, Ellida. We are going away somewhere. That is settled.
But what do you hope we can gain by it?
You, Ellida. You again.
But you can't. Oh, no. No, you can never do that.
Well, we shall have to see, but if that's how you feel. There's only one solution. You've got to go, and the sooner the better.
Oh, no, I'd rather tell you the truth. I'm not going to let you make yourself unhappy, especially since it can't help us.
Tell me then, Ellida.
That day you came out to Shulviken to ask me to be your wife. You spoke so frankly to me about your first marriage. You told me how happy you'd been.
I was?
I know. I just want to remind you that I was just as honest with you. I told you that I'd once been in love with someone else, that we'd become, in a way, engaged.
In a way?
Well, yes, it lasted such a short time. He went away, and I regarded the whole thing as finished and done with.
My dear Ellida, why are you dragging all this up? It has nothing to do with me. I never even asked you who he was.
No.
Besides, I think I could have provided the name myself. Out there at Shulviken, there weren't too many people to choose from.
You think it was Arnholm?
Yes. Wasn't it?
No.
Oh. Well, then you have got me baffled.
Do you remember late one autumn, a big American ship came into Shulviken for repairs?
Yes, they found the captain murdered one morning in his cabin. I went out and did a post-mortem myself. It was the mate who'd killed him.
You've no right to say that. It was never proved.
There wasn't any room for doubt. Why else should he have gone away and drowned himself?
He didn't drown himself. He went away with another ship, up into the Arctic.
How do you know that?
Oh, Wangel. That's the man to whom I was engaged.
Ellida, what are you saying? Get engaged to a man like that, someone you know nothing about. I mean, what was his name?
At that time, he called himself Freeman. Later on, when he wrote to me, he signed himself Alfred Johnston.
Where did he come from?
Finnmark, he said, up in the Arctic Circle, but he was born in Finland. He came to Norway as a child with his father, I think.
What else do you know about him?
Only that he went to sea when he was very young, and that he'd voyaged all around the world.
Nothing else?
No. No, we never talked about him.
Well, what did you talk about then?
Mostly about the sea.
Oh, the sea.
Storms and calms, dark nights at sea. And the sea on sunny days, we talked about that too. But mostly we talked about whales and dolphins and the seals that lie out there on the islands. And we spoke of gulls and eagles and other seabirds, you know. And it's strange. But when we spoke of these things, I felt as if he was of the same blood as these sea beasts and birds.
And you?
I felt almost as if I were one of them, too.
I see. So you became engaged to him?
Yes, well, he said I should.
Said you should? Have you no will of your own?
Oh, not when he was with me. Oh, when I look back on it now, it all seems so impossible to understand.
Did you see him often?
No, not very often. We met one day when he came out to look at the lighthouse, and then we saw each other occasionally. Then this thing happened with the captain, and he had to leave.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
Early one morning, it was scarcely light, I remember, I got a note from him. In it, he said I was to go and meet him at Brathammeren. You remember the headland between the lighthouse and Shoalviken?
I remember.
I was to go at once, he said, because he wanted to speak with me.
And you went?
Well, yes, I had to. Well, then he told me that he'd killed the captain during the night.
He admitted it.
Oh, yes, but he'd only done what had to be done, he said, what was right.
Well, why did he kill him then?
Well, he said it was nothing for me to know about.
And you believed him? Just like that?
Oh, yes. Never occurred to me to do otherwise. Well, anyway, he had to leave. But before he said goodbye, he took from his pocket a chain, and he pulled a ring from his finger, a ring he always wore, and he took a small ring from my finger too, and he put the two rings on the chain, and then he said that we two were going to marry ourselves to the sea.
Marry?
Yes, those were the words he used. Then he threw the chain and rings with all his strength, as far as he could, out into the sea.
And you, Ellida, you let him do this?
Yes. It's strange, isn't it? At the time, it seemed ordained. Well, then, thank God, he went away.
And after he'd gone?
Oh, I soon came to my senses, of course. I saw how mad and meaningless the whole thing had been.
But you said something about letters. He's tried to get in touch with you since then?
Oh, yes, I've heard from him since. At first I had a few short lines from Archangel. In it he just wrote that he was going to America and gave an address for me to reply to.
Did you?
Oh, yes, I wrote at once, of course, that everything was finished between us, and he wasn't to think of me anymore, just as I would never think of him again.
But he wrote to you again?
Yes, yes. It was just as though I'd never broken with him. He wrote calmly and affectionately that I was to wait for him, that he would let me know when I could come to him, and then I was to come at once.
He wouldn't give you up?
No. No. So I wrote again, almost word for word what I'd written before, even more firmly.
He stopped writing to you then?
No, no. He wrote as calmly as before. Never a word about my having broken with him. Well, then I realized it was useless, so I never wrote again.
And you never heard from him?
Oh, yes, I had 3 more letters from him. The last one was from Australia. In it, he said he was going to the gold mines. Since then, I've not heard a word.
That man must have had an extraordinary power over you, Ellida.
Yes. He was a demon.
But now you're not to think of him anymore, and he promised me that, my dearest Ellida. We're going to find a new cure for you, a fresher air that we can have here in the fjord. The cleansing, salt-heavy air of the sea. What do you say?
I'll never escape from it there any more than here.
Escape from it? I mean, what exactly do you mean, my love?
I mean, the horrible, unfathomable power he has over my mind.
But you freed yourself from that years ago when you broke with him. All that is dead and forgotten.
No, that's just it. I'm not free of it, and I'm afraid I never will be. I did forget him. But he came back to me.
How long ago did this happen?
Oh, about 3 years ago, perhaps a little longer. It was while I was carrying the child.
Oh. Oh, then, now I understand, Ellida.
Oh, no, my dear, you're wrong. Oh, I don't think that anyone will ever be able to understand.
To think that you've been in love with another man for 3 whole years.
But I don't love anyone else, only you.
And why have you refused to live with me as my wife all these years?
Because I'm afraid of the stranger.
Afraid?
Yes. The sort of fear that only the sea can give you. Oh.
Hello. Are you still up here?
Yes, it's so lovely and cool up here on the hill.
We're going down to dance.
Oh, fine. We'll be down in a minute to join you.
Right then. See you soon.
Mr. Lindstrand, are you going dancing too?
Oh, no, Mrs. Wangel, I don't think I ought to.
No, better not. That chest of yours, it's not quite right yet, is it?
Not quite, no.
How long is it now since that voyage you were telling us about this morning?
Oh, it must be about, wait a moment. Yes, about 3 years ago.
3 years. Yes, well, we mustn't keep you. Go on down, but no dancing.
I promise, I'll just watch.
Ellida, why did you ask him about that voyage?
Johnston was on board with him. I'm almost sure of
What
it.
makes you think that?
He'd heard that I'd married while he was away, and it was at that moment that this came over me.
This fear?
Yes. I can see him in front of me. No, not quite in front. A little to one side. He never looks at me. He's just there.
How does he look?
Well, the same as when I last saw him.
10 years ago?
Yes, out at Brathammer. Oh, I see him so clearly. On his chest there's a pin with a big bluish-white pearl, like a dead fish's eyes. There it was staring
For
at
heaven's sake,
me.
Ellida, you're sicker than I thought. You're sicker than you know.
Well, help me if you can. I feel it crowding in on me
To
more
think that
and
you've
more.
been in this state for 3 whole years, suffering in secret without telling me.
But I couldn't have told you. If I told you all this, I'd also have had to tell you.
What?
Oh, no. No, please don't. Wangel. Oh, Wangel, how can we solve the mystery of the child's eyes?
My dear Ellida, that's entirely your own imagination. The child had eyes exactly like any other child.
Oh, no, he hadn't. Couldn't you see? The child's eyes changed with the sea. When the fjord was calm and sunny, his eyes were the same. When it was stormy, oh, I saw it all clearly, even if you didn't.
Suppose you're right, suppose you are. What then?
I've seen eyes like that before.
Where? When?
Out at Brathammer 10 years ago.
Ellida, what do you...
The child had stranger's eyes.
Ellida...
Now perhaps you'll understand why I never dare live with you as your wife again.
Ellida! Ellida! My poor unhappy Ellida.
Are there any fish there?
Yes, 1 or 2 old carp.
Those old carp. Are they still alive?
Yes, they're tough. We're going to catch one of them.
Oh, you would have a better chance out in the fjord.
Ah, the pond's more mysterious.
Yes, it's more exciting here. Have you been in the sea?
Yes, I've just come up from the bathhouse.
I expect you stayed close to the shore.
Yes, I'm not a very good swimmer.
Can you swim on your back?
No.
I can. Come along, let's try over on the other bank.
Isn't your mother in the garden?
No, she's taking a walk with Father.
How is she this afternoon?
I don't know. I forgot to ask.
Ooh, what are those books you have there?
Oh, one's something about plants and the other's a book about geography.
Do you like reading that sort of thing?
Oh, yes, when I can find the time. I've got to do the housework first.
But doesn't your mother, stepmother, help you with that?
No, that's my job. But I had to see to it during the 2 years that Father was alone, and I've done it ever since.
But I can see you still love reading.
Oh, yes. I love reading anything I can get. Anything useful. I want to know about the world. We live so outside everything here.
Oh, don't say that, Bolette.
Oh, we do. I don't think our life is so very different from the life of those carp down there in the pond. The fjord lies so close, with great shoals of wild fish swimming in and out, but the poor tame carp mustn't know anything about what goes on out there. That life is not for them.
I don't think they'd be happy if they could get out into the field.
I wonder.
Tell me, Bolette, isn't there something special, I mean, that you long for as you sit here?
Yes, perhaps.
What? What do you long for?
To get away.
That most of all?
Yes. And after that, to learn. I want to know about everything.
When I used to teach you, your father often said he would send you to the university.
Oh, poor Father. He says so many things, but when it comes to the point, he never gets anything done.
No, I'm afraid you're right. But have you ever talked to him about it? Really sat down and talked about it?
No, I've never done that.
Oh, but you should, before it's too late. Why don't you?
Because I never get anything done either. I take after Father.
Oh, don't you think you're being unfair to yourself?
No. Unfortunately, Father's got very little time to think about me and my future. Not much inclination either. He's so occupied with Ellida.
With whom?
My stepmother. Father and Mother have their own life to live.
Well, all the more reason for you to get away from here.
Yes, I know. I must think of myself, too. Try and go somewhere. Do something. For when Father dies, I've got no one else. Poor Father. I'm afraid to leave him.
But good heavens, your stepmother, you'll still have her.
Yes, I know, but she can't do all the things that Mother used to do so well. There's so much that this one doesn't see, or won't see, or won't bother about. I don't know which it is.
I think I know what you mean.
Poor Father. He's so hopeless about some things. He hasn't got enough work to keep him occupied all the time, and she's quite incapable of helping him. But that is partly his own fault.
How do you mean?
Oh, well, Father only likes to see happy faces about him. We must have sunshine and happiness in the house, he says. I'm afraid he sometimes gives her medicines which aren't good for her in the long run.
Oh, do you really believe that?
Yes. I can't help it. She's so odd sometimes. Oh, isn't it unfair that I should have to stay here? It doesn't do Father any good, really.
Bolette, this is something we two must discuss.
What's the point? I was born to stay here in the pond.
Perhaps that depends on you.
Do you think so?
It lies entirely in your own hands.
Do you mean you'd put in a good word for me with Father?
Oh, that too. But first, I'd like to have a serious talk with you.
Oh, it's beautiful here. Beautiful.
Have you been out walking?
Yes, a long walk over the hills with Wangel. Now we're going out sailing.
Would you like to sit down?
No, thank you, I don't want to sit.
Oh, but there's plenty of room here.
No, I don't want to sit, I don't want to sit.
This walk has done you good. You look so exhilarated.
Oh, yes, I feel Wonderfully well. Happy and safe. What's that big steamer coming in there?
Oh, that must be the big English ship. Yes, the Englander.
Tying up to the buoy. Does she usually stop here?
Only for about half an hour or so, and then she goes further up the fjord.
And then out again tomorrow. Out into the great open sea and across the sea. Oh, just imagine. If only one could sail with her. Oh, if only one could.
Have you never been on a long sea voyage, Mrs. Wangel?
No, never. Just to and fro here in the fjord.
Yes, we've got to stick to the land.
Well, after all, this is where we belong.
No, I don't think so. I think if people had learned from the beginning to live on the sea, perhaps even in the sea, we'd be quite different from what we are now. Better and happier.
Well, yes, perhaps you're right. But what's done is done. We've taken the wrong turning and become land animals instead of sea animals and must remain so. It's too late to alter things now.
Yes, I'm afraid you're right. And you know, I think people sense it. They endure it as one endures a secret sorrow. I'm sure that's the reason why people are so melancholy. I'm sure of it.
Oh, you mustn't brood like that. A few moments ago, you were so happy.
Oh, I'm just being stupid. Why doesn't Wangel come? He promised he would, but he's forgotten. Dear Dr. Arnholm, would you go and fetch him?
Of course, gladly.
Tell him to come at once. Tell him I can't see him.
Can't see him?
Oh, you don't understand what I mean. When he's not with me, I can't remember how he looks. It's as though I'd lost him. It's horrible. Please go.
Dr. Arnholm, wait a moment. I'll come with you. You won't know where to look.
No, never mind. I can manage.
No, I'm afraid he may be aboard the ship.
Afraid?
Well, yes, he usually goes aboard to see if there's anyone he knows amongst the passengers. And the bar will be open.
Well, come along then.
Good evening, Ellida.
Oh, my love, have you come at last?
Yes, at last.
Who are you? Are you looking for someone here?
You know I am. I've come to see you.
The eyes.
You know me at last. I knew you at once, Ellida.
Don't stare at me like that. I'll shout for help.
You mustn't be afraid. I shan't hurt you.
Don't look at me.
I came with the Englander.
Go away and don't come back. I wrote you that everything was finished between us forever. Now, you know that.
I wanted to come before, but I couldn't. This was the first chance I got. Now, I am yours again, Ellida.
What do you want with me? Why have you come here?
You know, I've come here to fetch you.
But you know, I'm married.
Yes, I know.
And yet you've still come to fetch me.
Yes.
Oh, this is terrible.
Don't you want to come?
Don't look at me like that.
I'm asking you, don't you want to come?
No, I don't want to come. I can't. I won't. I daren't.
Very well, Ellida. Just let me say one thing before I go.
Don't touch me. Don't come near me. Stay where you are. Don't touch me.
You mustn't be afraid of me, Ellida.
Don't about me like that.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
Fred, I kept you waiting rather a long time.
Oh, Vinyl!
Ellida, my dearest, what in heaven's name?
Oh,
What is it?
Vinyl, save me.
What?
Can't you see? Over there.
That man? May I ask who you are and what you're doing in this garden?
I want to talk to her.
I wish to speak to my... Ellida, do you know this man?
Yes, Vinyl.
What?
It's he.
Yeah?
This is the man, you know, the one who...
Are you that Johnston?
You can call me Johnston if you like. It's not my name.
Not your name?
Not anymore.
Well, what you want with my wife? Perhaps you know that the lighthouse keeper's daughter married long ago, and perhaps you also know who is her husband.
Yes, I've known that for more than 3 years.
How did you find out?
I was on my way home to you. I saw an old newspaper. It contained news of the wedding.
A wedding.
I thought it strange. Because when we buried the rings in the sea, that was a wedding too, Ellida.
Oh,
How dare you?
But you forgot.
don't stand there looking at me.
Speak to me, not to her. Since you know the situation, what is your business here? Why have you come here to see my wife?
I promised Ellida I would come back to her as soon as I
Ellida?
could.
How dare you call my wife?
And Ellida promised to wait for me
Kindly
till
do
I
not
returned.
address my wife by her first name. I do not permit such familiarities
She
here.
belongs to me.
To you?
You'll never let me go.
Did she ever tell you about the 2 rings? Mine and Ellida's?
Yes. What of it? Well, that's finished. You got her letters? You know it's finished.
Ellida and I agreed that those 2 rings should bind us as surely as any priest.
But I don't want to. I never want to see you again.
You must be out of your mind if you think you can come here and claim any rights by such childish tricks. You surely don't think you can take her away from me by force against her own will.
No? What would be the good of that? If Ellida wants to come with me, she must come with me of her own free will.
Of my own free will.
You must be out of your mind. Be off with you. We've no further business with you.
It's almost time for me to go aboard again. Well, Ellida, I have fulfilled my half of our pledge. I have kept my promise.
Oh, don't touch me, please.
Think it over before tomorrow night.
There's nothing further to think over. Get out.
I'm going up the fjord now with the ship. Tomorrow night I shall be here. On my way back, I shall come to you. Wait for me here in the garden. You and I will decide this matter alone.
Oh, Wangel, do you hear what he says?
Don't worry, my dear. We have a way to prevent any such visit.
Goodbye then, Ellida. Till tomorrow night.
Don't come back here tomorrow night. Don't ever come back here again.
If you decide to come with me across the sea,
Go into the house, Ellida.
think hard, Ellida. If you don't come with me tomorrow night, you will never see me again.
Never?
Never again. I shall never come to you. You will never see me nor hear from me either. I shall be dead and gone from you forever.
Oh.
So think carefully before you decide. Goodbye. Be ready for the journey tomorrow night. I shall be here to fetch you.
Of my own free will. He said I should go with him. Of my own free will.
Don't worry, he's gone now. You'll never see him again.
How can you say that? He's coming back here tomorrow night.
Let him come. He won't see you.
Oh, Wangel, don't think you can stop him.
Oh, yes, I can, my dear. Trust me. The whole thing's finished and done with. And even if he should come back here, we know how to clip his wings.
We could never do that.
Oh, yes, we can. If we can't prevent him from seeing you by any other means, we can report him for the murder of his captain.
Oh, no. We know nothing of the captain's death. Nothing.
But he confessed to you himself.
We shall say nothing about that. If you say anything, I shall deny the whole story. Oh, don't lock him up in a prison. He belongs out there on the open sea.
Ellida.
Oh, my dear. My dearest. Save me from that man.
Come, Ellida. Come with me. Come.
I say, Mrs. Wangel, I've got some news for you.
What?
Just imagine, we've seen the American.
The American?
I saw him too.
Yes, he came up past the garden and went on board that big steamer.
How do you know that man?
I went to sea with him once. I was sure he'd been drowned, but here he is, alive and kicking. I'm sure he must have come to revenge himself on that faithless girl of his.
What did you say?
Lindström wants to make a masterpiece out
Come
of
and
it.
look. The English steamer's starting up the fjord.
He'll visit her tonight.
Faithless wife, yes.
At midnight. I say.
Oh, how exciting.
Tomorrow, then.
For the last time.
Oh, Wangel.
I feel it, Ellida. There is something behind that man.
The tide is behind him.
The tide.
That man is like the sea.
Good morning, Miss Wangel.
Good morning.
That bit round the edge there. Must be jolly difficult to do that bit, Miss Wangel.
Oh, no, it's not so difficult. It's just a matter of counting right.
Oh, counting? You have to count too?
Yes, the stitches. Like this. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I say. By Jove, it's almost like a kind of art, isn't it? Can you draw too?
Yes, we'll have a pattern to copy.
And not otherwise?
No.
Oh, then it's not really an art after all, is it?
No, it's just a knack.
But you know, I believe you could become an artist.
But I haven't any talent.
But if you could be with a real artist all the time...
You mean I could learn from him?
I don't mean through lessons. I think it would happen, little by little, like a miracle, Miss Wangel.
How very strange.
Have you ever considered, have you ever thought seriously about marriage, Miss Wangel?
About... No.
I have.
Have you?
Oh, yes, I think a lot about such things. Marriage especially. I've read a lot about it in books, too. I think marriage must be a kind of miracle. The way a woman gradually changes her personality so as to become like her husband.
Has it never struck you that a man might be brought over to his wife's way of thinking? Become like her, I mean.
Oh, no, I'd never imagined that.
Why not?
A man's got a vocation to live for. It's that gives a man strength and purpose. He has a calling in life, a man has.
All men?
Oh, no, I was thinking of the artist.
Do you think that an artist ought to get married?
Yes, I think so, when he finds someone that he really loves.
Even then, I think he ought to live just for his art.
Of course he must, but he can do that just as well after he's married.
But what about the woman he marries? What is she to live for?
Oh, she must live for his art, too.
I'm not so sure.
Oh, yes, honestly, look, believe me. Not only because of all the honour and respect that she'll get through him, but to be able to help him to create. And make his work easy for him by being with him, keeping him happy and comfortable, looking after him. I think that must be a wonderful life for a woman.
You don't know how conceited you are.
Conceited? Me? Good heavens, Miss Wangel, if only you knew me a little better. Miss Wangel? When I'm gone, which I very soon will be...
You mustn't say such dreadful things.
Dreadful? What's dreadful about that?
Oh, I don't understand.
Well, I'm going away in a month, and then later I'm going south to the Mediterranean.
Oh, that! Oh, yes, of course. Oh, thank you.
Well, when I'm gone, will you think of me sometimes?
Yes, of course.
You promise?
I promise.
Cross your heart.
I cross my heart. Oh, but what's the point in all this? It can't lead to anything.
How can you say that? It would be wonderful for me to know that you were thinking of me while I was away.
And then what?
Then? I don't know.
Neither do I. So much stands in the way. The whole world stands in our way, I think.
Well, a miracle might happen. You see, I believe that I'm lucky, and if you think fondly of me while I'm away, and now I have your word that you will...
Yes, you have my word. But it can't lead to anything all the same.
Yes, Miss Bolette, it will mean that I shall be able to work much more confidently at my composition.
Do you believe that?
Yes, I feel it inside me. And I think it would be so inspiring for you, too, sitting here, to know that you were, so to speak, helping me to create.
Oh, look! Dr. Arnold's coming.
You fond of your old teacher, Miss Bolette?
Oh, yes. He's a fine person to have as a friend and advisor. He's always so helpful.
Isn't it odd that he should never have married?
Do you think so?
Yes, seeing he's said to be so well off.
Oh, he's well off. I don't suppose it's been so easy for him to find someone willing to have him.
Why?
Oh, almost all the girls he knows are old pupils of his. He says so himself.
Oh, what difference does that make?
Oh, good heavens. One doesn't marry a man who's been one's teacher. Not once one's grown up.
I say.
Shh.
Good morning, Bolette, my dear.
Good morning, Dr. Denholm.
Oh, good morning, Mr. How are you today?
I'm quite well, thank you.
Is your stepmother down bathing today, too?
No, she's up in her room.
Oh, not feeling well?
I don't know. She's locked herself in.
Mrs. Wangel was very shaken by seeing that American yesterday.
What do you know about that?
I told Mrs. Wangel I'd seen him walking alive past the garden.
Oh, I see.
You and Father were sitting up late together last night.
Quite late, yes. We got onto something rather important.
Did you get a chance to say anything to him about me?
No, Bolette, I wasn't able to get onto that. He was preoccupied.
Yes, he always is.
But later today, you and I will have a serious talk about this. Where is your father now? Isn't he at home?
He's probably in the surgery. I'll go and fetch him.
No, don't bother. I'll find him.
Oh, just a moment, Dr. Denholm. I think that's Father coming downstairs now.
Ah, no, my dear fellow, I'm delighted you've come so early. There's something more I want to talk to you about.
Shall we go down into the garden and join Hilda?
Oh, what a good idea.
Do you know that young man well?
Huh? No, not at all.
Do you approve of him seeing so much of your girl?
Does he? I hadn't noticed.
I think you ought to keep an eye open.
Yes, of course, you're perfectly right. But you know, the girls have got so used to looking after themselves, they won't listen to anything that I tell them, or a leader either. Besides, I can't bother her with such matters. These things bore her. But tell me, have you thought any more about what we were discussing last night?
I haven't been able to think of anything else since I left you.
What do you think I ought to do?
My dear doctor, I think you as a medical man ought to know the answer better than I.
Oh. If only you knew how difficult it is for a doctor to diagnose for someone who means a lot to him. Besides, this isn't any ordinary illness. No ordinary doctor can be of any use in such a case. Or any ordinary medicines, either.
How is she today?
Well, I was up with her just now, and she seems calm enough. But, you know, behind all her moods, there's something hidden which I cannot fathom. And she's so changeable, so unpredictable.
I suppose that's because of her mental state.
Well, that's only part of it. I mean, Ellida was born like that. No, you see, she's one of the sea people. That's really what it is.
What exactly do you mean, my dear doctor?
Haven't you noticed that the people who live out there by the open sea are a different race? Their way of feeling and thinking. They're like the tide, they ebb and flow. And they can never uproot themselves and settle anywhere else. Oh, I should have thought of all of this before. I sinned against Ellida when I tried to take her away and bring her inland to this place.
Is that how you feel?
Well, I should have thought of it at the first. Well, in my heart I did think of it, but I wouldn't let myself believe it. I loved her so much that I put myself first. I was unforgivably selfish.
Yes. Well, everyone is a little selfish in such circumstances.
Yes, but I've been selfish since. I mean, I'm older than she is. I ought to have been a father to her and a guide. But I wanted her as she was. And then things went from bad to worse with her, and I sat here not knowing what to do. That's why, in my distress, I wrote to you and asked you to come here and see us.
What? Is that why you wrote?
Yes, please don't tell anyone.
But, my dear doctor, what help did you suppose I could give you?
No,
I don't understand.
I suppose not. I was completely on the wrong track. I mean, I thought that Ellida had perhaps been in love with you once, that she was perhaps a little fond of you still. I thought it might possibly do her good to see you again and to talk to you about her home and the old days.
Then it was your wife you were referring to when you wrote that someone here was waiting for me, longing to see me again.
Why, yes. Who else?
No, of course, you're right. But I didn't realize it.
Quite understandably, I was on the wrong track.
How do you explain the power which this stranger has over her?
Oh, my dear friend, there are aspects of this case which simply cannot be explained.
Yes. This curious, horrible notion that she has about the child's eye.
Well, that business about the eyes is rubbish. Rubbish. It's pure imagination, nothing else.
Did you notice the man's eyes when you saw him yesterday?
Certainly I did.
And you saw no light?
Oh, good heavens, what do you want me to say? It was quite dark when I saw him, and Ellida had spoken so much about this likeness, I couldn't look at him objectively.
No, I suppose not. But then this other matter. I mean, what she says about all this anxiety and unrest that came over her just at the time when this stranger had started on his journey home.
Well, that's something else she must have persuaded herself about since the day before yesterday. I mean, it certainly didn't come over as suddenly as she pretends now. Ever since this young Lindstrand mentioned that Johnston or Freeman, or whatever his name is, was on his way here 3 years ago in March, she's persuaded herself that these disturbances of hers started just in that month.
Isn't that true, then?
No, not at all. I mean, the first signs started long before then. Now, I admit it did happen to be 3 years ago in March that she had a particularly bad time of it.
Oh, then
but that can be explained by the circumstances, the condition she was in at the time.
What is one to believe?
I mean, to be unable to help her, to be unable to think of any way out. I suggested to her that we should move out to Shelviken, but she doesn't want to.
She doesn't want to?
No, she doesn't think it would do her any good. Perhaps she's right.
Do you think so?
Yes. Besides, when I think about it, I'm not sure whether I really should go and settle there. And the girls, I mean, it's really unfair of them to go and stick them in such a backwater. I mean, they must live somewhere where they have some chance of finding a husband.
A husband? Are you beginning to think about that already?
Good Lord, I must consider them too. But then Ellida. My poor sick Ellida. Oh, my dear Arnholm, which of them am I to put first?
I don't think you need to worry about Bolette. I wonder where they've gone to.
I'd gladly make any sacrifice for all three of them. If only I knew what to do.
Don't go out this morning, my dear.
No, of course I won't.
Oh, Dr. Arnholm. Good morning.
Good morning, Mrs. Wangel. Not swimming today as usual?
No. Won't you sit down for a moment?
No, thank you so much. Not now. I promised the girls I'd join them in the garden.
What time is it, Wangel?
It's just past 11.
At 11 o'clock tonight. Oh, if only it were all over.
Ellida, my dear.
Yes?
The night before last, out there in the Prospect, you said that you'd often seen him over the last few years, standing alive before you.
Yes, I have.
What did he look like?
Why, Wangel, you know yourself what he looks like now.
Or did he look the same then?
Yes.
I mean, just the same as when you saw him yesterday evening?
Yes, just the same.
Then how was it that you didn't immediately recognize him?
Didn't I?
No, you said yourself that for a moment you'd no idea who this stranger could be.
Oh, yes, of course, you're right. But that's strange, isn't it, that I didn't recognize him at once?
It was only the eyes, you said.
Yes, the eyes.
And yet, up on the Prospect the night before last, you said that he always appeared looking to you just the same as when you last saw him 10 years ago.
Did I say that?
Yes.
Then he must have looked the same then as he does now.
No, you painted quite a different picture the night before last on the way home. 10 years ago, he had no beard, you said, and the clothes were different, and the tie-pin with the pearl. I mean, this man yesterday had no such thing.
No, that's true.
Now, think a little harder, Ellida. Or perhaps you can no longer remember how he looked when you stood with him at Bradhammer.
Not clearly. Not. Oh, today I can't. Isn't that strange?
No, it's not so strange. You see, you've got a new image of him, the real one. And that shadows the old image so that you cannot see it any longer.
Do you think so, Wangel?
Yes. And it shadows your sick imaginings of him, too. That's why I think it's good that reality has come at last.
Good? You call it good?
Yes. His coming here may be what you need to bring you back to health.
Wangel, I want to try to tell you what's in my mind.
Yes, my dear.
It was a great misfortune for both of us that we ever met. It had to end in tragedy.
What?
Oh, Wangel, it's no use our lying to ourselves.
Lying?
Yes, or hiding the truth. The truth of the matter is that you came out there and bought me.
Bought? Did you say bought?
Is there any other word for it? You couldn't stand the emptiness of your house any longer, so you looked round for a new wife.
And a new mother for my children, Ellida.
You didn't know if I was at all suited to that. You'd only spoken to me 2 or 3 times, and then you wanted me, and...
Call it what you like.
And I stood there helpless. So when you came and offered to support me for life, I agreed, but I shouldn't have accepted. I shouldn't have sold myself to you. I wish now I'd done anything, starved, so long as I'd chosen to do so, chosen freely.
So the 5 or 6 years we've spent together have meant nothing to you at all?
Oh, Wangel. I've had everything here that anyone could wish for, but I didn't come to this house of my own free will.
Not of your own free will. I remember I heard that phrase yesterday.
Oh, in that phrase lies everything. It opened my eyes. Now I see it all.
What do you see?
I see that the life that we 2 are living together is not really a marriage.
God knows that's true.
Oh, it never has been. Not even in those first weeks. My first. That could have been a real marriage.
Your first?
My marriage with him.
I simply don't understand you.
Oh, Wangel, don't let's go on lying to each other and to ourselves.
I don't want to lie.
Don't you see that a promise given freely is just as binding as any marriage?
But in heaven's
Let
name,
me go. Let me leave you, Wangel.
Ellida!
Please let me go. You must believe me that things will never be any different between us, even if I stay.
Now, our life together has meant nothing to you. You've never really belonged to me.
Oh, Wangel, if only I could love you as you deserve to be loved.
Divorce, then? Is that what you want? The full legal divorce?
Oh, how little you understand me. I don't care about the formalities. All I want is that we 2 should freely agree to release each other.
Cancel the bargain.
Exactly. Cancel the bargain.
And then, Ellida, what then, afterwards? Have you thought how all this will seem to us then? How life will shape itself for you and me?
That can't be helped. Things will have to shape themselves as best they can. I beg you. I pray you, Wangel. Give me my freedom. Give me my complete freedom again. That's all that matters now.
Ellida, this is a terrible thing you're asking me to do. I must have time to think. We'll talk about it again. Give yourself time.
We have no time. I must have my freedom today.
Why today?
Because he's coming here tonight.
He? What has this stranger got to do with it?
I must be free when I meet him. Free to choose for myself.
And then what will you do, Ellida?
I don't want to hide behind the fact of being another man's wife. I don't want to hide behind the pretext of not being able to choose. Otherwise, there'd be no choice to make.
Do you realize what you're saying? Go with him. Give your entire future into his hands.
Didn't I put myself into your hands?
Yes, but I mean, a stranger you know absolutely nothing at all about.
I knew even less about you, but I went with you.
Well, at least you knew the sort of life that you were coming to. But what do you know about him? Nothing. Not even who he is.
I know. It's just that is so demonic.
It certainly is.
That's why I think I must go to meet it.
Ellida, what exactly do you mean by demonic?
The demonic is something that appalls and attracts.
Attractive, too.
Oh, more than anything, I think.
You were like the sea. I've never really understood you. I'm beginning to realize that now.
That's why you must let me go. I'm not the woman you wanted to marry.
Perhaps it would be best for us to part. No, I can't. You are to me what he is to you. If we can only get through today, we mustn't lose our heads. Ellida, for your own sake, I must assert my right, my duty to protect you.
What is there to protect me against? There's no power or force outside that threatens me. The root of the fascination lies in my own mind, and what can you do against that?
Well, I can help you fight it.
Perhaps. If I wanted to.
You mean you don't want to?
I don't know.
This evening it'll all be settled, Ellida.
Yes.
And tomorrow?
Tomorrow? Well, perhaps by then I shall have thrown my life away. Perhaps his, too.
Ellida, do you love this stranger?
I can't tell. I only know that for me, he is the demon, and...
Yes.
It's to him I feel I belong.
Tomorrow he will be gone. And the danger will be past. Then I will let you go. Then we will cancel the bargain, Ellida.
Oh, Wangel, tomorrow it will be too late.
Well, we've been making great plans.
We want to go out in the field tonight.
Oh, no, don't tell them.
We too have also been making plans.
Indeed?
Yes, sir. Ellida is going out to Schelviken for a while.
Going?
What a good idea, Mrs. Wangel.
Ellida wants to go home to the sea again.
You're going away? Are you leaving us?
But Hilda, what's the matter with you?
Nothing. Go, by all means.
Father, I see it in your face. You'll be going away too to Schelviken.
No, not at all. I mean, I shall go out there.
But you come back to us?
From time to time.
Time to time.
Dear child, it has to be.
I'll have a word with him now, Bolette, in private.
What's the matter with Hilda? She looks quite upset.
Haven't you ever noticed what Hilda's been yearning for day after day?
Yearning for?
Ever since you entered this house.
No, what?
One single loving word from you. Father, dear, the food is on the table.
Oh, is it, child? Oh, good. Dr. Denholm, please. Let us go in and drink a farewell cup to the lady from the sea. No, Ellida, my dear, I promise you there's plenty of time yet.
No, there isn't. He'll be here at any moment.
Ah, good evening, Doctor. Good evening, Mrs. Wangel.
Oh, it's you. Is there to be a concert here tonight?
Yes, the Horn Society will hold forth. There's no shortage of festive occasions nowadays. Tonight, we are playing in honor of the Englander.
The Englander? Is she in sight already?
Not yet, but she's coming down the fjord through the islands. We shan't get any warning. Suddenly, poof, she'll be upon us.
For the last time. He will not come again.
A grievous thought, Doctor. Ah, dear, as it says in the tragedy, summer's joys will soon be past and gone, and every way to the sea be locked with ice.
Every way to the sea be locked.
A melancholy reflection. For these few months, we've been merry children of the summer. It will be hard to accept the season of darkness. For the first few weeks, I mean. Men and women can acclimatize themselves, Mrs. Wangel.
Oh, God. This unbearable hour before the moment of decision.
You're still determined to speak with him, then?
I must speak with him. And I must be free to choose.
You have no choice, Ellida. I will not let you choose.
You can't stop me, don't you see? In this house, there's nothing to keep me. I have no roots here. The children are not mine. They don't love me. They never have loved me. If I go with him tonight, or out to Schelviken tomorrow, I haven't even a key to give up or any instructions to leave. I've been outside everything since the first day that I came here.
You wanted it that way.
No, I didn't. I simply let everything stay the same as it was on the day that I arrived. It was you who wanted this.
I only did what I thought would make you happy.
Yes, Wangel. Yes, I know. But now there's nothing to bind me here. Nothing to give me strength. feel nothing. For you, our home, the children. Nothing.
Yes, I realize that now, Ellida. Tomorrow you shall have your freedom again. You shall lead your own life.
My own life. Oh no, the life I was born to lead ended on the day I came here. And now, in half an hour, he'll be here. The man I ought to have remained faithful to. He's coming for the last time to ask me to start my life afresh.
That is why you must allow me as your husband and as your doctor to choose for you.
Look,
Let them go.
can you make out what's been the matter with him these last few days?
Have you noticed anything?
Of course.
Something in particular?
Yes. Lots of things. Haven't you?
I think it'll be a good thing for your stepmother to go away for a while.
Do you?
Mightn't it be a good thing for you all if she could get away now and then?
If she goes to Shirlbeacon tomorrow, she will never come back to us again.
What on earth makes you say that?
I know it. You will see she'll never come back here again. Not as long as I and Hilda are here anyway.
Hilda, too?
Not so much her, perhaps. She's still almost a child, and she worships Ellida in her heart, I think, but with me it's different. A stepmother who isn't so much older than oneself.
My dear, it may not be so long before you have a chance to get away.
Have you spoken to Father?
Yes.
What did he say?
Well, he's so occupied with other things just now, you know.
What did I tell you?
But I did get one thing out of him, though. You can't count on any help from him.
No help?
No, he spoke to me quite openly about how things are with him. He made it clear that it would be quite impossible for him to help you financially.
Why did you have to raise my hopes? Just to make a fool out of me?
Dear Bolette, it depends entirely on you whether you leave or stay.
Depends on me. What depends on me?
Whether you get out into the world. Get the chance to learn everything that you want to learn. Live a full life, Bolette.
Oh, dear God. But all this is impossible. If Father can't, then there's no one I can turn to.
Would you be prepared to accept a helping hand from your your former teacher?
You mean that you would be willing to...
To help him? Yes, gladly. And not only with words. Do you agree then? Well, do you agree?
Do I agree? To be able to get away, to see the world, to learn something real and worthwhile.
You have only to say the word.
Oh, but how can I accept such an offer from a stranger?
You can accept it from me, Bolette.
Yes. I think I can. I don't know why, but I could laugh and cry for joy. I'm so happy. I was beginning to fear that life was slipping away from me.
Well, you don't have to worry about that any longer, Bolette. But first, you must tell me frankly, is there anything at all which binds you here?
Binds me? No, nothing. Well, that is Father, of course, in a way, and Hilda, too. But...
Well, you'll have to leave your father sooner or later, and Hilda will have to go her own way sometime, too, but otherwise there's nothing, Bolette, no tie of any kind.
No, none at all. I can leave here any time.
Then, Bolette, my dear, come away with me.
Oh, dear God, if that could only be.
You trust me, don't you?
Yes, of course.
Then you are prepared to give yourself unreservedly into my hands, Bolette.
Yes, of course, you're my old teacher. I mean, you used to be my teacher in the old days.
No, I didn't mean because of that, but, well, you are free then, Bolette. I therefore ask you if you could be willing to bind yourself to me for life.
What are you saying?
For all your life, Bolette. Will you be my wife?
Oh, no. this is impossible. Oh, it's quite impossible.
Would it be so impossible?
Oh, Dr. Arnholm, you can't mean what you're saying.
Listen a minute, Bolette. I see I've surprised you. Yes, perhaps you're right. You couldn't know it was because of you I came here.
You came here because of me?
Yes, Bolette. Last spring, I got a letter from your father. It contained a sentence which led me to believe that your memories of your former tutor were tinged with more than affection.
How could father write that?
Oh, he didn't mean that. But I allowed myself to imagine that in this house a young girl was sitting and waiting for the day when I should come back. No, don't interrupt me, Bolette. When a man is no longer in his first youth, such a belief, illusion if you like, affects him deeply. At first I felt merely grateful, but then I felt I must come to see you to tell you that I shared the feelings which I deluded myself into supposing that you cherished towards me.
I'd never dreamed that anything like this could happen. You used to be my tutor. I can't imagine ever standing in any other relationship towards you.
No. No. Well, if you feel you can't then, let our relationship remain as it was.
What do you mean?
My offer stands. I shall enable you to get away from here and see the world, to learn something, to be secure and independent. I will secure your future too, Bolette. In me, you will always have someone you can trust. I want you to know that.
Oh, but Dr. Arnholm, all that is impossible now.
Is that impossible too?
Yes, of course it is. After what you've said to me and my reply, well, surely you must realize that I can't accept anything from you, ever, now.
Do you want to turn your back on everything you dream of? To know that there's so much more in life and never to experience it? Oh, think, Bolette. Think hard.
Yes. Yes, that is perfectly true.
And then later, when your father's no longer here, perhaps to stand alone and helpless in the world, or to have to give yourself to another man for whom you might not be able to feel any affection either.
Oh, yes, I see how true all that is. Everything you say. And yet, perhaps...
Yes?
Perhaps it might not be so impossible after all.
What, Bolette?
That it might work. That I might... What you suggested just now.
You mean you might perhaps be willing to grant me the happiness of being allowed to help you as a loyal friend?
Oh, no. No, that would be quite impossible now. No, Dr. Arnholm. Rather take me...
Bolette! You mean...
Yes, sir. I think I do. If you still want to have me.
If I still... Oh, thank you. Thank you, Bolette. If I've not won your heart yet, I shall find a way to win it. Oh, Bolette, I will carry you through life on my hands.
I should be able to see the world. To live. You promised me that.
I will keep my promise.
And learn anything I want.
I myself shall be your teacher, as I used to be, Bolette.
Have to worry about the future. Not have to pinch and scrape.
You will see how happy we shall be together. How calm and trusting. It will be a good life, Bolette.
Yes. I'm beginning to think that... Oh, yes. It must work. Shh. I don't say anything.
Oh, Lingstrand. What's the matter with you?
Well, you know how ill he is.
If he isn't just imagining it.
Oh, no, he isn't just imagining it. He hasn't got very long. But perhaps it's for the best.
For the best?
Nothing would come of his art, even if... Well, let's go before they come.
Hello. Aren't you going to wait for us?
Bolette and I are going on ahead.
It's lovely here at the moment, isn't it? Everybody going around in couples, hand in hand.
Do you know, I think he's courting her.
Really? Miss Bolette will never accept him, I'm sure of that.
No. She thinks he's begun to look so old. She says he'll be bored soon, too.
I didn't mean just that. She wouldn't have him anyway.
Why do you say that?
There's someone else she's promised to think about and wait for.
You mean you?
Yes. She promised me. But you mustn't tell her that you know.
Oh, cross my heart. I should be as silent as the grave.
I think it was good of her to say that.
When you come back home, will you get engaged to her? Marry her?
Oh, no, I daren't think of that for the first few years. And when I'm in a position to, if I'm in a position to, she'll be too old for me then.
But you wanted to sit here and think of you?
Yes, I think so. To know that somewhere in the world there's a lovely, silent young woman sitting quietly and dreaming of me. I think that must be so... I don't know how to describe it.
Exciting?
Exciting, yes, just that, exciting. More or less. You're so wise, Miss Hilda. Amazingly wise. When I come home again, you'll be about the same age as your sister is now. Perhaps you'll even have come to look like her. Perhaps you'll have the same mind that she has now. You and she will have become one person, so to speak.
Would you like that to happen?
I don't know. Yes, I think so. But now, this summer, I want you to stay just as you are. Not like anybody else, just yourself.
You like me best as I am?
Yes, I like you very much as you are.
Tell me, as an artist, do you think I'm right always to wear these light summer clothes?
Yes, I think they suit you very well.
Yes, but speaking as an artist, how do you think I would look in black?
In black, Miss Hilda?
Yes, all in black. Think I would look good in that?
Black is no colour to wear for the summertime. Though, yes, I think black would suit your looks perfectly.
Black. Up to the neck. And black crepe all around. Long black gloves. And a long black veil hanging down behind.
If you dress like that, Miss Hilda, I should wish myself a painter so that I might paint you as a beautiful young widow in mourning.
Or a young bride in mourning.
Yes, that would be even better. But surely you couldn't want to dress like that?
I don't know, really. But I think it's exciting.
Exciting?
Yes. Exciting to think of. Oh, look!
Oh, the big English steamer. She's right alongside.
No, Ellida, my dear, you're wrong, I promise you. Now, that's right, isn't it, Mr. Lindstrand? She's not in sight yet, is she?
The English ship?
Yes.
There she is, Doctor. Come like a thief in the night, as one might say. Softly and soundlessly.
Well, you'd better take Hilda down to the jetty. Hurry. She'll want to hear the music.
Hand in hand, what did I say?
He's come then. He's here.
You better go indoors, Ellida. Let me talk to him alone.
Oh, no, it's impossible, I tell you. There he is.
Good evening. Well, Ellida, here I am again.
Yes. Yes, the time has come.
Are you ready to go with me or not?
You can see for yourself that she is not.
I don't mean is she dressed for traveling or has she packed her bags. All she needs on the journey I have on board. I'm asking you, are you ready to come with me?
Don't ask me. Don't tempt me.
That's the first warning. You must say yes or no.
Oh, to decide for one's whole life and never to be able to undo it.
In half an hour, it will be too late.
What makes you hold on to me so relentlessly?
Don't you feel, as I do, that we two belong together?
Because of the promise I gave you.
Promises by no one, no man, no woman. I hold on to you because I cannot do otherwise.
Why didn't you come before?
Ellida.
Oh, this man tempts me and draws me into the unknown. All the power of the sea is gathered in this man.
I see it in your face, Ellida. I hear it in your voice. You will choose me in the end.
The choice does not rest with my wife. It is my duty to protect her. If you do not leave this country at once and promise never to return, do you know what will happen to you?
Oh, no, Wangel, you must.
What will you do to me?
I will have you arrested at once as a common criminal. Before you board the ship, I know the truth about that murder out at Shelvik.
Oh, Wangel, how can you?
I was prepared for that. So I took the precaution of bringing this.
Oh, no, don't kill him! If you must kill anyone, kill me.
Don't worry, I don't want to kill either of you. This is for myself. I mean to live and die a free man.
Wangel, of course you can keep me here. You have the power and the means to do so, but my mind, my thoughts, dreams, and longings, those you cannot imprison.
I see it, Ellida. Little by little, you are slipping away from me. Your longing for the boundless, for the infinite, will end by driving your mind into darkness.
Oh, I feel it, like black, soundless wings beating over me.
It mustn't come to that. There's no other way to save you, none that I can see. Therefore, I agree to cancel the bargain now, at once. Now you can make your choice in freedom, Ellida.
Do you mean it? Do you really mean it with your whole heart?
Yes, I mean it, with all my heart.
Can you? Can you let me go?
Yes, I can. I can because I love you so much. So very much.
Am I so close? So close to you, then?
You've become a part of me through the years that we have lived together.
And I've been unable to see all this.
Your thoughts were directed elsewhere, but now you are free forever from me and from everything that belongs to me. Now you can go back to the life that is really yours. Now you can choose, free, on your own responsibility.
Freedom and responsibility.
You hear, Ellida? She's sounding for the last time. Come.
I cannot go with you.
You're not coming.
I can never go with you now.
Ellida.
Then it's finished.
Yes. Yes, it's finished forever. To me, you're no more than a dead man thrown up by the sea, whom the sea will soon claim again for her own. I no longer fear you. I no longer want you.
Goodbye, then. Henceforth, to me, you are no more than a lost ship.
Ellida, your mind is like the sea. It flows and ebbs. What changed you?
Don't you see? The change came when you let me choose for myself.
And the unknown no longer attracts you.
I no longer yearn for it. I no longer fear it. I was free to choose the unknown, so I was free to reject it.
I begin to understand you little by little. Your yearning for the sea and for this stranger, all that was nothing more than an expression of your longing for freedom.
Perhaps. I don't know. But you've been a good doctor to me. You discovered and dared to prescribe the right remedy. The only one that could have cured me.
When things are desperate, we doctors take desperate measures. But now, Ellida, will you come back to me?
Yes, Wangel.
We can live for each other, Ellida.
And for our children.
Our children.
They're not mine yet, but they will be.
Our children. Yes. Thank you, Ellida.
as if they just got engaged.
It is summertime, little lady.
The Englander is sailing now.
Oh, this is the best place to watch from.
Last trip of the year.
Every way to the sea will soon be locked, as the poet says. A sad thought, Mrs. Wangel. And soon we shall lose you too for a while. You'll be off to Sherlviken tomorrow, they tell me.
No, this evening we too have changed our plans.
You have?
Father, is this true? Then you'll be staying with us after all?
Yes, Hilda, dear, if you want me to.
Oh, if. Oh.
Well, this is certainly a surprise.
Why, Dr. Arnholm? Don't you remember what we two were saying yesterday? Once one's become a landsman, one can never find one's way back to the sea.
Why, that's just like my mermaid.
Yes, more or less.
But with one big difference. The mermaid died. But men and women, they can acclimatize themselves. Yes, I assure you, Mrs. Wangel, they can acclimatize themselves.
Yes.